Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you are doing good. This particular video is about car design and how to get into car design, how to start your preparation and all that stuff. So first thing that I want to talk about if you are a car design aspirant is you need to know the numbers. You need to understand what the market is and what you are actually preparing for. This video is particularly for people who are obsessed with Lamborghinis, Ferraris, BMWs, Mercedes, and all sort of fancy cars. See, if you take a look at the real world scenario, there are around some 50, 60 good top car brands, and in those top companies, there are only about 5 to 10 designers. So, if you are looking for car design as a career where you are actually earning money, where you are actually getting paid for that job, just imagine the number of seats available for that job, the number of people required for that job versus the amount of people good at car sketching or the amount of people doing car sketching, putting their efforts to learn car sketching and all that stuff. So the ratio is close to 1 in 1 lakh. If you see this group on Facebook, Sketches of Cars, there are some 2000 members now, and maybe there are more such groups existing around the world. And if you see 80% of the content on this group, and I'm not criticizing it, but I'm saying it's a very shallow level of work. It's just like I enjoy car sketching and that's about it. I'm just drawing some random views with crazy proportions and all. But do you think these sketches and these people are actually good enough to design a car for Ford or Ferrari or Lamborghini or Mercedes or whatever? The point I'm trying to make here is a car manufacturer invest at least 2 to 3 years for one single model and at least 10 times the price of the car. So just imagine somebody is spending 50 to 60 crores at the minimum, or say 10 to 15 million dollars to get your designs to life if you become a car designer in that particular company. Do you think your skill level is worth that investment? Do you think people will actually risk that money and put their money on those designs in which you are spending time, or you're creating all these sketches? So the point I'm trying to make is it's very rare that these kind of sketches or this kind of work will ever get you a job or a career in car design. If you are serious about career in car design, you have to be extremely knowledgeable, extremely explorative, extremely sensitive and deep thinker about the whole domain of car design. It cannot just happen by you knowing how to, or you learning how to sketch cars. Just doing some exterior three-quarter views of one particular random model is not the way to approach this thing. That's what I want to clarify at point number one. And second thing is, it's been almost 100 years that the car design automotive industry exists. So you need to know at least a basic history of car design. If I ask you what is the difference between vintage cars versus classic cars, most people will not be able to answer it clearly. So the point is, if you are really passionate about that field, at least learn some basic history about the car design industry, at least learn some basic engineering facts about the car design industry, learn how the engineering is involved, why there are certain rules, why there has to be two headlamps only on the extreme ends of the car, and so on and so forth, why there are so many constraints, why there are only one or two stepneys, one or two extra tires allowed in a car, and the whole engineering aspect is very, very critical to actually be able to design a car. That is something that most people who are obsessed with car sketching and all that fancy thing, I'm gonna design the next Lamborghini or Ferrari, they don't get into those details because those are inherently boring stuff. Those are basically those engineering details or history part of car design and all, and nobody wants to read about it. But the fact is, if you as a designer don't know the history, if you as a designer don't know what exists, how will you ever be able to create something new and creative which is really never done before? You're getting my point. See, a person like me can sketch this kind of sketches like every 15 minutes. And as much as I know, a good car designer, a single person can sketch at least 100 good sketches in 1 year. And no car company in this world can create even 50 models in 1 year. And I am talking about extremely detailed car sketches from at least 20 different perspectives and views and all that stuff. So just imagine what are your chances of getting into that industry and getting a paid job in that industry. It's very, very rare unless until you are extremely creative, extremely knowledgeable, and your work is superb. So my point is, if you are passionate about that field, be very sincere about it. Your work should be at least at that level where people can consider you and your work with that much amount of money to be invested. If you just do this much of work and consider yourself getting into a car design industry and becoming a successful car designer, dude, the reality is it's extremely difficult, it's extremely rare, and the amount of competition is crazy. Like when everybody wants to be a car designer and there are already some existing god level designers in that industry, the chances of you getting hired as a fresh talent and you getting paid for that work is extremely rare, because there are already those top guru level designers available in that industry and they can create far better sketches, far better concepts than you, right? And on top of that, if you don't know the history of car design, if you don't know the engineering aspect of car design, if you don't know which all designers worked on which all models, and what is the concept behind creating a series of cars, and a particular design language being used in certain brands, if you don't get into these details, it's it's extremely difficult to work and get paid as a car designer. Okay, so having said that, I would say that follow a methodical approach like you do in engineering or you do in medicine industry. Follow what is already done. You have to at least read 5 to 10 Wikipedia pages about cars, about history of automobile, how the whole car concept of car came into existence, who actually worked on the basic initial concepts of car design, what all were the challenges at that point in time, what all they did to overcome those challenges, what was the technology available during that time, how they used to use those double clutching while changing gears, what all has been done in that industry so far is very critical for you to know. So reading at least 3 to 4 car design Wikipedia pages is very critical, and this is true for almost all disciplines of design. If you don't know what exists, how will you ever design something new? Whatever you will think of, you will realize that it's already been done by somebody like 10 years back, 20 years back, right? So you must know what all has been done in that industry. You must know the history of that discipline. You must know the top 10, 20, 50 designers of that industry. You must know at least the prominent work in that industry, like the kidney grill of a BMW, which is the most iconic identification of BMW cars. So these kind of things you have to study very deeply. You have to think about that work as a very sacred thing and invest your heart and soul into it. Trust me, it's very, very deep, and it takes a lot of time to get into, those details and really able to understand the concept behind it, the reason behind it, the way things are designed, why they are designed. And it's very, very challenging to really come up with something new which can satisfy the engineering aspect, the cost aspect, the material aspect, the safety aspect, the business aspect of design. So it is way, way, way beyond your regular Lamborghini and Ferrari sketches. And if you think that everything will be taught to you in a design school, I am sorry. It's not gonna work like that. Being a designer and being a good designer takes a lot of effort from an individual. The faculties or the college will actually just give you a platform, will actually give you resources and maybe certain type of guidance. But if you are not self driven, if you don't have the tendency to dig deeper into concepts, history, challenges and problems, and have the capacity and the approach to solve them, it's not going to work. All the rosy pictures that you see and you imagine in your head will just come to a sudden halt. All the dreams that you have of becoming a future designer may not fulfill, and I'm not discouraging you, I'm just telling you that this is the reality, boss, and you have to prepare yourself, you have to work hard, you have to be extra sincere about your preparation, and you have to be really, really genuinely interested and passionate about this thing. Only then you can think of becoming a car designer. Okay, so with this I'll end this video. I hope this video gives you a realistic perspective and you put more and more efforts into realizing your dream of becoming a car designer. Till then, bye bye, take care, see you in the next video.